Tread for 20 minutes, Cheetah, before the crews got there to help them.
And wait, how old was she?
It did not say. We can look into that.
Okay, we'll look into that. Young girl, I don't know. Okay, we'll look into that. Check of the tropics for you. You know, in the Pacific, we've been really, really active this year. Hurricane Flossie, max sustained winds, 90 miles per hour. This is the latest advisory for you, 7 a.m. So even though that's in the Pacific, it's moving away from Mexico. No impacts here locally. Now, on the Atlantic side, it has not been as active so far this season. But take a look. The elongated area of low pressure now has a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. I do think it's just going to bring broadly scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, but it can make the seas rough. So keep that in mind. Maybe if your plan this week is to head to Florida for the 4th, Chantal would be the next name on the list, then Dexter, and then Aaron, and so on. The reason the Atlantic has been fairly quiet, well, we've had a lot of wind shear, so upward level winds that limit storm formation, and Saharan dust. The impacts from Saharan dust will arrive today. So we got the initial push yesterday. The rain helped to suppress that. This morning you're waking up to some haze. Watch how that continues to drive, though. Maybe even areas in North Texas could notice some hazy skies as well. We may see enough concentration of this dust to even impact our air quality. It usually takes a lot. You know, the Saharan dust wants to live in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. However, with enough, it can concentrate and sink even down to the surface. So even though our air quality right now is at that moderate stage, not bad, it's once you climb to that orange to especially red, that's when an air quality alert is typically prompted. So we will see. Now this morning, visibilities, so as far as fog goes, looking great. It's this haze, and it can make for some grayish sunrises, but kind of a reddish sunset. And I think you'll notice that later this afternoon into our evening hours. So Galveston this morning, nice, not bad. If your plan is to head out to the island, maybe for the 4th of July, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, but lower rain chances. Today, temperatures are heading to 95. An isolated downpour is still possible. Think more like today, about a 20% chance. Let me show you on our future track. This is 3 o'clock this afternoon. Isolated. This is exactly a 20% chance. Most of the area trends drier, but an isolated downpour is possible right through your early evening, and then that's it. Wednesday, I think we do keep it dry. Then check this out. As we creep into your Thursday forecast, I have thrown in about a 20% chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Again, the latest runs wanting to bring a few downpours back. We will be watching for that as we get into the 4th of July. I've been saying it's a July Friday. Temperatures heading close to 100 degrees both Friday and into Saturday. We have not officially hit that triple-digit mark so far this year. We escaped that for June, but we will see what the month of July provides. Either way, Jen, it's a little bit of a warming trend even through the upcoming weekend. Sunday shower. Notice live look on our radar this morning. We are seeing just a few of these little downpours materialize in Matagorda County. That could possibly stream in a little bit closer inside the city. However, again today, with peak daytime heating, that's when we trend. That's when we could see an isolated shower. Otherwise, this week we trend drier finally. However, as rain chances are out, temperatures crank up for the 4th of July near 100, and that is the case right through the weekend. Guys, I'll send it back to you. All right, y'all are good. Okay, I am going to dive into our tropics here coming up in just a little bit. But yeah, we do have Hurricane Flossie. This morning, though, we have some Saharan dust that has already arrived, and it is making for a hazy sky this morning. Not bad in Herman Park. In fact, a nice shot. Not so bad there, but take a look at Galveston. Gray skies this morning. Throughout the day today, it's going to be a really quick warm up. 90 at noon today. So even your lunchtime hour, 90 feels like temperatures more like 97. This afternoon, a 20% chance of that isolated shower. So rain chances are dropping. Saharan dust has arrived. And guys, this is going to take you right through the end of the week. Notice big push of this today, tomorrow, Thursday. This may even prompt an air quality alert. I'll dive a little bit more into the Saharan dust skies, the air quality, and hurricane. No, you're asking all things about Hurricane Flossie. Yes, in the Pacific, and still expected to move west, so away from land. But what's interesting is even around a hurricane, it's category 1, but of this size, still is going to really increase the rough surf, even potentially close to Cabo. So even in Baja, and that'll be right along the west coast Coast there. So overall, the Pacific has been very active. It's been busy, but the Atlantic has been fairly quiet. So I am tracking this elongated area of low pressure. So just a broad area of showers and thunderstorms across Florida. And that'll be the case over the next couple days. It now has a 20% chance of development, but not as much has changed over the last 24 hours. If it were to take on a name, it would be Chantal. But keep in mind how the Pacific is already on the letter F there for Flossie. Here locally, I'm tracking our air quality very closely. And guys, notice how we're basically at that moderate stage. I do think later we could creep into that sensitive category. More on this in just a little bit. Already I'm starting to get glimpses of the hazy skies. Live look outside in Galveston. No fog to talk about, but haze is going to settle in and especially probably thicken even through the afternoon. Live look outside, just a little bit of hint of some haze out there. I think during the sunset this evening, that's really when you'll notice it the most. So it's hot, it's hazy, high humidity. Rain chances are dropping, but these temperatures are increasing. At lunchtime, you're going to 90, so warming quick. By the afternoon, think mid 90s with that isolated downpour. So today's July 1st, so looking back at the month of June, look at all these days above average. Yeah, now all of the records here were taken from Bush Intercontinental Airport. That's statistically where we get our records, and we keep them. That way we can see over 30 years, over 60 years. The month of June will come in above average, but really when you look to the nitty gritty of the numbers, it's pretty close to where our temperatures should be for the month of June. We're talking about plus or minus about 2 to 3 degrees above average for the month. And we really did well with our rainfall as well. This morning we are dry right now. We've seen a few little streamer showers trying to creep into Matagorda County, but otherwise today, only a 20% chance. So a lot of you will stay dry here for your Tuesday. At 3:30 this afternoon, this is a solid 20% chance. When you see that just little blip on our future track like that, that's saying we're not tracking anything organized, but with our peak daytime heating, that's when we could notice an afternoon downpour. Now tomorrow, I do think we trend drier. I think a good mix of clouds and sun, haze draped across the skyline, but that's really about it. Check of the tropics for you. We have been tracking in the Pacific, Hurricane Flossie in the Atlantic. This elongated low has a 20% chance of development. If it were to develop, again, it's fairly disorganized, but it would take on the name Chantal. So we will watch that for you for the rest of the week. Let's dive into the Saharan dust. So right now, our air quality is between good to moderate. The green is good, the yellow is moderate, but we don't have anywhere on the map that's in that sensitive category. So at this point, no air quality alert has been issued. I wouldn't be surprised though if the National Weather Service issues in air quality either later or maybe tomorrow, because this dust will kind of settle in. Watch the timestamp. So this is today, July 1st. Watch how this dust continues to push and kind of creep in across the area for your Wednesday and Thursday. So this may peak as we get into Wednesday. Now, typically dust lives in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, so it takes a lot for an air quality alert to be issued. It may. This is a pretty high level of concentration with that dust. It can have very similar impacts as either high pollen days or days where we don't have much variety when we have calm winds and clear skies, Jen. That's typically when an air quality alert has been issued. So again, hazy skies expected almost for the rest of the week. I know you've been busy over there.
Yes, we have.
Let's skip ahead. Everybody loves that, right? It's Tuesday. Let's skip ahead to Friday. That's always fun. It's going to get hot, okay? It's going to be hotter. Think nearing 100 degrees for the 4th of July this year. So more on that in a minute. This morning, you're waking up to mainly clear skies. We do have a little haze that's already moved in. Remember, our first push of that Saharan dust arrived yesterday. The rain kind of helped to suppress it a little bit. So I think you'll really notice that active Saharan dust, the hazy skies today through Thursday, potentially lingering for the 4th of July. This morning, area-wide 70s. Take a look at Galveston at 81, feeling though already like 87 on the island. Feels like temperatures. So those heat index values are going to be above 100 today. Even by lunchtime, your actual air temperature is going to 90. This afternoon, the high temperature is going to 95. Again, big push of Saharan dust today through Thursday. Guys, more on our air quality, what I'm expecting coming up in a little bit. Back to you. Water. You're exactly right. I mean, all of those elements Thankfully, she is okay. I'm so glad. That's a happy story to tell for a very happy ending, but very, very scary. This morning, Kay, instead of Florida, I thought I'm going to take you outside in good old Galveston. All right, I'll step off screen. Take a look. Our wave heights are starting to kick up just a little bit. So a moderate risk today for rip currents. You'll probably see either green, and that'll transition to the yellow to orange. That kind of has that orange hue of flag. And that says, hey, moderate risk for rip currents. So if you have little ones, you watch them very carefully. As we head into the upcoming weekend, winds will be about the same. So it'll probably be a moderate risk as we head to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If maybe your 4th of July plans are head out to the beach, to the coastline, but watch them very carefully through the holiday weekend. Okay, Bay Harbor 89, but feels like temperatures, closer to 100. We will talk about rain chances, guys. They're dropping, but notice they're still present. So a 10 to a 20% chance. More on that in a little bit. Back to you.